This is going to be Said Nurmagomedov versus Muin Gafurov. I feel I can't say that guy's last name. I'm just
Muin
call
Gafurov.
Gafurov. Okay, Muin Gafurov. All right, cool. So Said Nurmagomedov, he's coming off of that loss against Jonathan Martinez. I mean, Jonathan Martinez looked so good last week. I just want to say that. I mean, this guy just chopped up that guy Adrian Yanez's legs, made him look like he was not didn't even belong there. But anyways, it's Magomedov, 4-1 his last five, 17-3 record, 31 years old, 5'8", 70-inch reach, going up against Mooney, 18-5, 3-2 in his last five. He's coming off of that decision loss against Sexy Mexi John Castaneda. Um, 27 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach. Odds for this, uh, not too bad. Saeed right now is minus 225, and he's now, open up at minus 225. Now he's a minus 207. Just to switch it up for the main card a little bit, Alex, I want to hear your thoughts first before I kind of react to it. What do you think about this fight here?
Yeah, so I think for this fight, one thing that, I initially noticed right off the bat breaking down this fight is that Muin has a very short, stocky kind of body frame, low center of gravity, whereas Saeed, his frame is more long and lanky. Um, so there's kind of like differences there. And usually when you have like someone who's short and stocky and someone who's long and lanky,
Hmm.
um, the cage push could be like a big factor. And in breaking down like Saeed's fights, like he does get pushed against the cage a lot. Um, so that was like in the back of my mind for sure. Um, but looking at Muin's fights, I think for him to win this one, he's gonna have to make it like a brawl, like an ugly fight. He's gonna have to get into in. He's gonna have to push Saeed against the cage, get into the pocket, and like throw his haymakers, his heavy shots. Um, and there are periods where Gafurov likes to pick up that pace. He'll like blitz you and put on that insane pressure and throw these heavy shots. So that can be very dangerous for Saeed. But I think my pick is still Saeed here, uh, just because he's definitely like more technical. Like that. That's a fact right there. Saeed loves to throw his like spinning elbows. Um, so and he's like the taller one. He can piece up Muin. It just feels like Saeed is gonna win, in my opinion. Uh, so yeah, the pick is Saeed.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, Saeed, when I did break down his kind of fights, flashy striker, dangerous power in and inside and outside the pocket. Even though his last name is Nurmagomedov, not a wrestler, but he does have decent takedowns when needed against other strikers, and decent takedown defense against like non-wrestling based fighters, in my opinion. The fight that kind of turned it around for me though is when I watched him fight. I don't know how to say this guy's name either, but Sayo Kebab, that guy who the UFC, I think he was coming off of like 3 wins and then he lost that fight. The UFC just straight up cut this guy because I feel like he was about to steal the hype from Saeed. I feel like the UFC does want to build this guy up because I mean his last name, right? I mean, even though they have no blood relation, Saeed has a very exciting style, has the Nurmagomedov last name. And then Sayo Kebab, man, really did a number on it. I mean, he was taking him down at will, winning the fight. And then Saeed, to his credit, I mean, he did find a kind of gilly eventually, so he did guillotine his way out of there. But if that gilly didn't happen, I mean, he probably would have lost that fight, honestly. So that fight could have ended there. Um, he's coming off a close decision against Jonathan Martinez. I mean, when I actually was on the Saeed side in that fight, but honestly, I couldn't tell who won that fight when the fight ended. I mean, I could have. it looked like a really close fight, and I saw the side that Jonathan Martinez that people thought that he won, but I think that could have gone either way. It was a 29-28 decision, even though it was a unanimous decision. I feel like it was a really close fight. So if he was coming off a W, I feel like the odds would have been much wider, right? So this could be a potential buy low situation on Saeed because he's going to be the better striker in this, in my opinion. He's going to fight a wrestler with good power in Muni. Likes to swing wild. He does get into a lot of brawls. And Mooney, I mean, in that last fight, he kind of disappointed me. I was actually on his side against Sexy Mexi because I thought Sexy Mexi didn't have anything for this guy, but Sexy Mexi just like kind of picked him apart, and Mooney doesn't really impress me with his 0 for 6 takedowns. Like that was just bad. Like this guy couldn't take him down at all. Faded down the stretch. I mean, also gassed. So Saeed does also gas a little bit, but I mean he more so slows down in my opinion. Doesn't gas because he means just look at his last fight against Jonathan Martinez. It was a close fight till the end of the bell. So um, I would say Saeed is, yeah, like you mentioned, still my pick here in play for a possible decision or KO. Could be a good buy low in Saeed, but I just don't know if he's a parlayable piece at the moment. So I'll probably stay away from that until maybe let's see the weigh-ins, see what that looks like. But yeah, I would say that it should be a bounce back effort from Said Nurmagomedov where he could piece this guy on the feet and then really pay him for doing his kind of wild brawling and kind of wild striking too. So he could pay the price and get knocked out here. So yeah, pick is Saeed like you mentioned, but at least for me, I'm probably gonna not parlay this. But what do you think about Saeed as a parlay piece? Just curious.
Um, yeah, maybe not in a parlay, but like Saeed by decision, especially because Muin has never been knocked out or submitted. Um, and more often than not, like Saeed's fights, they do go to decision. Like he has 11 fights that have gone to decision, compared to 4 knockouts and 5 subs. Um, and Muin looks like a guy that, if he does get in trouble, he can just go with that cage push because he's like,
Hmm.
he seems like he's like, stockier, which he is. And Saeed, we have seen him like get pushed against the cage like that. The last like minute or two against Jonathan Martinez, that was just all up against the cage. Martinez
Yeah,
was just pushing him up against the cage. So I could see Saeed by decision, as like a straight bet. But yeah, I don't know about putting him in parlays yet.
yeah,
But I do kind of like Saeed by decision. That seems like a good bet.
definitely. Yeah, Saeed by decision right now is plus 200, so not a bad prop to attack there. That's for sure.